Kingston. Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
What happens when we combine the darkness with the light?
Yo, what up? This is Trust the Prophets, podcast number 23, as a tribute to number 23, Michael Jordan, with his Netflix documentary thing going on. What we're doing is we're going to look at the GOATs, the greatest of all time, as well as some other categories we're going to cover. Looking at something outside of horse racing for once. We're going to look at most of the major other sports we can talk about. We're going to cover horse racing, NHL, boxing, MMA, also known as human cockfighting, NBA, NFL, and MLB. So we're gonna get a few guests in here, talk about their opinions on each of the GOATs in their respected sports. Kind of like a low class version of Around the Horn. First off, I got myself. I'm Empire Maker. I got 3 guests with me. Let's start off. Vinny Blond, Real Dynasty Picks. Dude's a Saratoga, just legend out there, renowned all over the country. Also with us, we've got a Trust the Prophets legend. For this COVID shit hit, we're hitting bars around the tracks. FlyPaper, usually the guy to go in, make the intros, and get the business done. Fly P, what up? Yo. And lastly, we have a newcomer to the podcast. This guy is a Hazel Park legend. Just renowned around the country as an ambassador to horse racing, an ambassador to gambling. We're going to go with the Nature Boy out here today. What up, Nature Boy?
What up? Ready to talk about the sport of kings here?
And like I said, this is going to be a low-class version of Around the Horn. I'm going to try to rein these guys in as they will eventually get out of line. So the categories we're going to cover once again is horse racing, NHL, MMA, boxing, MLB, NBA, and NFL. And we're going to talk about each best active player still in the game, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the most overrated or overhyped player in each division or each sport, and then the most hated. We're going to save that for last so people can just pipe off. Let's get started. Let's just jump right in. I'm tired of listening to myself already. Let's go with horse racing. We're going to keep it tame. Best active horse in the game today, Vincenzo, go.
Be maximum security, even with the whole Jason Service nonsense. I think he's still best active horse right now until somebody can beat him.
The only horse ever jobbed out of a Kentucky Derby, Max Security. It's a solid pick. Let's move it on over. We're gonna go with Fly P. What do you got? Go ahead.
I got Charlatan.
Charlatan.
Didn't I say it?
Charlestown, we call him.
Charlestown. Chucktown.
With or without the drugs, though, because I gotta.
Of course.
Yeah, dude's pipe more full of lead than Barry Bonds.
It's like pumping in the blue pill before you.
All right, moving on. This is getting inappropriate in the first 2 minutes. It's probably not a good sign. All right, Nature Boy, what's your take? Give us a hot take on horse racing. We all know you're a legend.
I might have to defer to the experts on this one. It's been a while since since they shut down all the tracks around here.
At least repeat Vinny's.
Attention to it. I'm sure that does your podcast a lot of good.
Well, this is a big podcast. Just copy off Vinny. He went in front of you. Just copy it.
Vinny said maximum security, and I gotta. Yeah, I mean it was a shame that the Derby went down the way it did, but rules are rules. And that's
he got jobbed.
It's
all right.
Around here, so. Yeah.
All right, we'll get you out of that mess because I know you got some big work to do later in this thing. I'm gonna go with charlatan myself, charlatan, and that's because old whitehead Bobby Baffert juicing these things like Barry Bonds on a Tuesday afternoon in 2004, just blowing baseballs into the San Francisco Bay on a mishit oppo. But I mean, he got popped this week, and then his other horse, Nadal, we just heard about that today, an injury that sucks. So we went from just a legendary Baffert brigade to what the hell's going on all in about 2 days. But that's for another podcast. We're not doing horse racing so much today. We're going to move on to the NHL, and And I will throw a caveat out here. I don't know shit about a couple of these sports, and I'm sure these guys don't either in some of these categories. Or maybe I'm the only idiot that doesn't have expertise in everything. But NHL, best active player. Go ahead, Vinny.
I'm not a huge NHL fan, but I do like Ovechkin, so I'm gonna say Ovechkin still.
All right, good. That's FlyPaper's back here having a seizure behind me, so I don't think that was a popular vote in my out here in the crib. But
Dropping loads.
to me, it's a bunch of Canadians freezing to death on a freaking frozen lake. I got nothing for it. We're gonna go ahead. Let's go out. FlyPaper, best active.
Alex.
You're gonna go with AO.
Ovechkin.
I can't even commentate on this shit because I don't care. Honestly, I hate hockey. All right, Nature Boy, go. Best hockey player active today.
I'm going to go with Dylan Larkin of the Detroit Red Wings. His mom was my probation officer, and she was a sweetheart of a lady. I've had several of them. And to boot, her son, she was still a civil servant, even though so Dylan Larkin for me.
Wow, that's a hot take. I honestly don't know how much of that is bullshit and how much of it's real, but
That's
I do know the
100%
probation
true right
officer
there.
portion of that is real, so that's amazing. This is why we have Nature Boy with us today. You're gonna get some real hot takes. You're gonna learn a lot. Gonna learn a lot about yourself if you can get this far into the podcast and haven't turned it off yet. Myself, again, on the NHL, I don't know. I was a big Yzerman guy in the 80s or whatever. Is he still playing? If he isn't, that's the last thing I knew about it. And then all those Russians that came to Detroit, one of them got in a car accident and got his brain blew out. What was his name? What was that dude's name?
Constantino.
There you go, Konstantinov.
Vladimir
Got in a car
Constantino.
accident. Got the old limo driver got a little liquored up and threw her in the trees.
You're the old Princess Diana.
Wow. Yep. We're gonna go ahead and move on from there. Human cockfights are next. MMA. Now I know a couple of these guys here are big MMA guys. To me, it is literally sickening to watch. But Vincent, you got something for us here on MMA. Who you got? A guy, girl?
Bones Jones.
Yeah. I actually do. I know who that is. There's something for me.
John Bones Jones.
That dude's
He's
a
got
beast,
a
man.
criminal record that rivals mine.
I mean, I think he's still trying to fight. I think so. I consider him active. I mean, his only career loss is a fight that he actually won, but they said he used an illegal elbow, so they DQ'd him. Pretty good to me.
Yeah. But he beat up a deaf guy in that fight, though. So
Yeah, he also, he's just yeah.
I've actually seen him fight a couple times. That dude is abusive. He is a beast.
His brother plays for the Ravens. Not my goat in football.
Now check this out. Watch this self-promotion plan I'm going to throw at you with FlyPaper. We got a local legend of that game right in our hometown here. I can't even remember the guy's name, but I'm sure FlyPaper's going to blow him for you.
Wonder Boy.
Yeah, Steven.
Oh, Stephen Thompson.
There you go. Yeah, he's a hometowner here, big time legend. Fly P, go in though. Who's the best active fighter right now?
That was not my selection.
Wonder Boy. He's kind of a badass though. Be honest with you.
He's a badass. He's also got a belt last spring as the NNF. Nicest mother ever.
I was gonna say I knew the BJs were coming out sooner or later with this thing.
My goat right now is the gentleman who won the BMF belt for the baddest MFer. Jorge Masvidal.
Give it a moment of silence because nobody that's listening has a clue who that is. I'll be honest. And if they do, that's too bad.
Masvidal.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody?
BMF.
That was super necessary, that comment. So
All right, we're gonna move on. What do we got? Nature Boy, who do you got in MMA? I know you're a big snob with this shit too. Go.
I'm gonna go with Habib Nurmagomedov. Yeah,
Is that the shoe bomber?
he's just relentless.
He's a monster, that guy.
He's from the beautiful country of Dagestan. So
Is he really?
very
though?
progressive and tolerant country.
Yeah, they have a high tolerance for
It's
women and children.
very LGQTB friendly over there in Dagestan.
Yeah, I'm a big Habib fan too.
Relentless
yeah.
pressure, unbelievable cardio, the
Yeah,
best ground and pound since Peter North left the game.
We told you we were going to keep it classy for you. We are about 12 minutes into this thing. We're going to move it forward. I'm going to skip MMA again. Nobody cares. This is a sport for just losers in the corner smoking cigarettes. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to buy into this thing. What we will do, the real fight game next is what we're going to do, the real fight game. Boxing. Unfortunately for the world, nobody's seen a boxing match since early 2000s. Vinny, you got somebody for boxing?
No, the last boxing match I watched was Mayweather versus McGregor. So I got.
Vinny's got nothing for boxing. Another guy with an education on MMA, but nothing for boxing. It's a sad state of affairs for the good guys. For the game of fisticuffs. Let's go. Fly P, what do you got for boxing? Anything?
I got my man Floyd Money Mayweather.
That guy's like 70. He just went with Mayweather.
Is he still active?
I don't
That's the
know.
name that I knew.
Because I was gonna say I would have gone with him as active. I thought he was retired. I don't know.
He's gonna hit my list later. We'll save that. Yeah, that was best active. Nature Boy, is Mayweather active? You're the boxing king. You're the ring king.
If there's enough money on the table, he's active, So
Dude tosses $1 million
Yeah.
on a roulette wheel at one spin. And you can tell by the just pure adrenaline that everybody's pushing forward that everybody's a huge boxing fan these days. All right. Me, I got nothing. I don't have an active boxer either. What's his name? Fury? Tyson Fury? I'll go with that.
Ooh, Tyson.
I got one name for you.
Omaha, Nebraska kid. He's classic.
yeah,
Who else is from Omaha? Wasn't there a serial killer?
World War II, Warren Buffett.
If you're new to the podcast, Fly P's really good at bringing up serial killers. And I thought there was one from Omaha, but maybe I'm mistaken. All right, now we're gonna get past boring sports and we're gonna move into something where we can start talking. Major League Baseball. Vincenzo, the best major leaguer playing today. And I almost broke this up. Should we have pitchers and hitters separate? But we're just gonna go with it. You got a feeling
Trout.
on this? Mike Trout?
Mike Trout.
Yeah, I think you're probably on battery acid if you don't pick Trout at this point. We're gonna move through that quick.
Yeah.
Fly P, you got any
I got JV.
Justin Verlander? That's a guy. Okay.
Mainly because of his slam piece, Miss Upton. If they're still together.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did. I'm pretty sure they're still married.
Yeah, I think they are.
he's not slanging enough beef for me downstairs. I've seen the photos. So
Katie Upton. Yeah, that thing is.
Guardrail.
Oh, JV did good with that one. Let's see, Nature Boy. Who do you got for baseball? Active player, best guy. Trout. Go ahead. We'll move
well,
on.
it's fucking Trout, and it's not even close. If he died in a helicopter crash tomorrow, they'd have the ceremony at the hall the next day. That's how fucking good this guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy's a fucking statue running around out there.
I mean, he's fucking Mickey Mantle or something.
We're gonna talk about him dying in a helicopter crash. So that's classy.
Should be
Classy move. I got
The real
Trout.
question is, who's the second best active position player?
That's a great
Are
question.
we talking to me or whatever?
I'll probably go with Trey Turner. Trey Turner, man, shortstop, Nationals, go. Miguel Cabrera died 3 years ago. He's still playing his corpse out there on the field.
Wow.
About 4 bills. So
All right, I'm going with Trout too. I think that was way too obvious. It'll get more interesting later as we move. What do we got? Next, we got the NBA. Best active player alive today. This is going to be fun right here because I know people got attitudes. I wish our boy Brent was in this thing because he's a fucking idiot. Would have been fun, but Vinny, what are you thinking on NBA?
King James.
Ooh, that was the answer I was hoping.
I think it's close, personally.
And we are agreeing we're talking about the 40-year-old receding hairline King James now, not 10 years ago at King James.
40-year-old King James is still better than everybody else. He's been the best player in the league for the last decade.
I'll give you. He's the
Hasn't been close.
best of the generation. I'll give you that. Fly P, go. You've been a wealth of knowledge so far, by the way. So thank you for that. Let's bring the heat. Keep bringing the heat.
I'm gonna go with Giannis, the Greek Freak, Antetokounmpo.
Now we're thinking. That's a good choice, Giannis. Next up, Nature Boy, go. NBA best active player.
it's still LBJ for the time being. And if you want to have a conversation about whether he's better than Jordan, that's a real one right there. So
Are you freaking serious? That's a joke, right?
I don't know. Dude's unreal. Always has been. He's like an athletic Magic Johnson out there.
A less fat and no AIDS having Tragic Johnson. We're gonna go ahead and move on to best active player in the NFL. Vinny, this is a tough one too. This is a tough, tall act. You got offensive, defense. You got players all over the place. You got a bunch of assholes. You got good guys. Who you got, Vinny? Who comes to mind?
I think right now the best active player is Mahomes. Guy is unreal, and he just seems to be getting better.
Yeah, I don't know how you can argue that. What's he, 23, 24 years old? He's already got a Super Bowl. He's almost got 2.
Yeah, if overtime rule was different, he probably would have 2, but
yeah, I don't know how you fight that one. Let's see what Fly P's got though. Bring the heat. I know you got a heater coming. Go ahead.
I was actually thinking Aaron Rodgers.
We said active. He hasn't played in like 3 years.
It's like John Jones in the MMA. He could play.
He might. He got. That team fell apart on him too, though.
Blanked on Mahomes. Mahomes is the real deal. Slick hair too.
Nature Boy, you gonna disagree with Mahomes? You got somebody that can even be brought into this conversation?
I'm definitely gonna disagree with Mahomes.
Go.
Mahomes is RG3 with Andy Reid as the head coach.
Oh God. RG3 reset. Wow.
Yeah. And no, wow, I don't truly believe that, but I'm not completely sold on him.
Not sold on him. Okay. We got a long show.
Christian McCaffrey is doing some insane things out there, and McCaffrey is doing it with one of the worst disabilities in the history of the league. I mean, a lot of you people might remember Rocky Blyer, played for the Steelers, went to Vietnam, was severely injured in an artillery attack, blew half his leg off. He came back, ended up being NFL Comeback Player of the Year, won a couple Super Bowls. But the year's 2020, and Christian McCaffrey's playing tailback with a total absence of melanin, which seems to be a prerequisite.
I was gonna say, can we just get down to what you're really talking about here?
Yeah.
And, the elephant in the room, nobody's gonna talk about, but that disability. What is it? Could you just clarify the disability that McCaffrey has against all the other running backs in the league, and in the history of the last 30 years of the league? Go ahead.
He's playing tailback as a white man in the NFL and putting up better numbers than everyone.
So do we marginalize him as stronger than reality based on that, or do we adjust the scale and say he's really that good? Because I think he really is that good, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what he's done. It's like how you expected Reggie Bush to be coming out of college.
Valid.
Well, his dad was pretty sick for the Broncos, wasn't he? Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah, before his 40 concussions, he was
white as a melanin
melanin free
white receiver.
Yeah, but Eddie McCaffrey was like 6'5". Christian's like small. That is great. I think that's the one argument that we can tolerate here without just bashing the shit out of you for trying to challenge Mahomes. I also have Mahomes. I don't think there's even a discussion to be had, but I think McCaffrey's probably the best argument. Well played by your guy, the Nature Boy. All right, we got to move forward. We're running out of time. Now we're gonna go to the GOAT. We're gonna go to the greatest of all time. We're gonna start horse racing. Vinny, this is your strength. Move. Who we got? I don't even think there's a discussion here either. We're gonna move through this quick, I think.
For the greatest horse of all time?
Go ahead. Yes.
I have Spectacular Bid. Actually,
whoa, I knew you were gonna snob.
Secretariat is a close second, but Spectacular Bid I think is just overall. What you think he was like 29 for like 33 lifetime or something like that? Like, he was something absolutely ridiculous.
This is why Vinny Blond's here, folks. This is the take you're gonna get.
He's been my favorite. He's been my favorite horse that I never saw race for like since forever. So I think he's the greatest horse of all time.
I love it. That's avoiding the popular take that I'm sure the other three of us are gonna go with, which is a no-brainer. Except maybe FlyPaper's gonna have some smart-ass thing going. What do you got?
I had nothing. I got Secretariat.
That's very informative. Nature Boy next.
I mean, it's got to be Secretariat, but I don't understand the dominance of that horse. Like, was he running different steroids than everyone at the time, or
He was Wilt Chamberlain playing against me, you, and 3 other white boys on a basketball court in 1962.
Yeah.
That's secretary. Put him out there in the field now. He's actually still the best. He would
Yeah,
still
his
be the
times
best.
Are still.
Yeah,
His
he's
times
the,
are still the
he's the
best,
greatest of
right?
all time, dude. Come on.
Yeah, his times
Spectacular
are just,
bids.
his
Amazing
times
too.
are stupid. Those are records that will never be broken, I don't think.
It's hard to argue that. Vinny brought it. That's why he's here. Yeah, I gotta go with secretary. If you just rewatch the Belmont, if you have any doubts about that, where he just pulled out about 50 lengths on everybody, went to sleep. All right, next. That's too easy. What are we doing next? We're gonna go the greatest of all time in the NHL. Vinny, go.
Gretzky.
Perfect. I don't think there's another answer there either. Nature Boy. Bring me
Lemieux?
something. Bring me an argument.
Claude Lemieux?
Jesus.
He
Not
threw-
Mario, but Claude.
Yeah, Mario's third cousin, twice removed.
Yeah, he knocked Draper's teeth out on the fucking bench, and then he had all those guys shaking his hands after the series. That's some goat heel shit right there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying the dude wasn't valuable, Claude Lemieux. But
No, I think it's Gretzky, then Lemieux, and
Mario or
then
Claude?
Jeremy Roenick solely for his NHL 1995 for the Sega Genesis.
Nice
That guy's
play.
just amazing.
love that. I threw down the great one because, again, it's a Canadian sport that nobody cares about on playing on frozen water. Nobody cares. All right, we'll move ahead. MMA, the GOAT. Go, Vinny.
I still think it's John Bones Jones.
He's running it back. Bones Jones.
I think Bones Jones. I think
two?
Bones Jones. I don't. A lot of the MMA fighters who were there when it started.
Dude, he
getting
is locked
popular,
down, man. I know nothing about the thing, but every time I've watched the guy, he's killing people out there.
He's never. His only loss is a DQ. Like he's never been knocked out. So
That fight should have been stopped too long before that DQ came. He was looking at the ref the whole time.
and I just think it makes him look better that he manhandles Daniel Cormier like every time, and then Cormier goes out there and beats everybody else.
I like that you guys can name these cocks out there fighting.
In two divisions, so
Right.
if you had a prize pit bull,
It's the
you
same
fought
thing.
him every weekend.
Throw a pit bull down, let them rip each other's skin off of their bones, and we'll call it a race.
Yeah.
Johnny Bones only has 3 legs. So
Fly P, greatest of all time MMA, go.
Hoist Grayson.
There you go,
Whoa,
the grappler.
Back in the original days, there was no weight classes. He just destroyed them.
That was fun to watch, too, because you just watched two dudes hump each other for 20 minutes. Next, Nature Boy. You got a disagreement? You can't go against those two, can you?
I mean George St. Pierre
Ooh.
That's a good one.
is, one of the most.
Is he French, though? Because that's a
well-rounded-
big mark against him.
French-Canadian.
Yeah, that's true. It's bad enough being Canadian, but to be
Oh,
French
Canadian people are terrible people.
Yeah, and I don't know. He just brought the entertainment and the excitement. Just the most rounded fighter I've ever seen.
He used to train down here too, actually.
Did he? Because GSP to me is Gulfstream Park, but maybe I'm a little different.
GSP used to train with Steven. Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy Thompson. My favorite MMA fighter of all time is that chicken that chewed off the other chicken's leg in that match one time. All right, we'll move ahead. We don't do cockfights here.
Vinny Blond's face.
I thought you were gonna bring up Tank Abbott, who used to just try to throw people out of the octagon.
That was great, dude.
I don't even know what
could
that
talk about
means.
Tank Abbott for fights.
I don't know what it means, but man,
He used to instead of trying to actually knock anybody out, he used to try to take advantage of the rule that if you got the person out of the octagon, you won. So he would just pick people up and try to throw them over the top of the cage, but it was always too high, so he never could do it.
Yeah,
I wish it would have been good if maybe Jeffrey Dahmer could have been a MMA guy. He could have ate the people right in the ring. You know what I mean? I think equal entertainment. You're in your cockfighting. You might as well just eat the guy right in the ring. We're gonna move ahead. We're gonna go here.
That's
Here's where
real.
things get interesting. All right, MLB greatest of all time. This is big. Now, we should have separated this thing, pitching and hitting, shouldn't we have? But we're gonna do it anyway. Vinny, go.
I'm gonna get killed for my take.
I hope
I think
so.
it's Barry Bonds.
Baroid, baby. I knew it was coming.
I love Barry Bonds.
I don't think anybody's gonna kill you for that.
Oh,
I mean, the dude was juiced harder than Charlatan, but Baffert used to be his spotter when he was lifting weights. you had the old white-headed goat out there pulling that bar up.
Dude, Vinny thinks pretty much like me on all this shit, dude. This is bad.
Long lost brothers from different parts of the country, but they're the same guy.
So park in the toga? What do you do?
Look,
You're going to Hazel all day if you got the choice.
we did. I got my hot take on Barry Bonds is that dude's a Hall of Famer with or without the joints. One of the best pure hitters ever. He probably wouldn't hit 73 home runs at 75 years old without him, but great player nonetheless. I can't kill you for it. Fly P, go.
Thinking Willie Mays.
That's legit. I expected such bullshit out of you, and you come at me with a real player.
Another giant.
Yeah,
Say hey.
2 Giants.
Oh, I'm sorry. Willie Mays Hayes from the Cleveland Indians is actually.
I knew we were not gonna get through that
Nice
clean.
fucking catch, Hayes.
Willie Mays.
To say, hey kid, though, W. Mays, man, one of the best well-rounded players. Mike Trout, by the time it's all said and done, same type of guy. Nature Boy, go. I'm interested. You're gonna go with Bonds too, aren't you?
No.
Yeah, I mean other than Bonds, that's where I'd go. I mean, the dude went 30 for 50 before he was gassed up. He only gassed up because McGuire and Sosa stole all the headlines, even though they fucking suck dick as actual players. So,
And this is for the kids. This is a podcast for kids, by the way, with the language.
all right, I got to go with Nolan Ryan.
Wow, I love it. That's my guy. Now, you look at any list. That's such a smart play.
How many no hitters?
1,000.
7,
And he
I
beat the
think.
shit out of some. Who?
He got it.
Mark? How?
Yeah.
I got it. It was 7.
Who'd he beat the shit out of on the mound at 46 years old or whatever?
Robin
Amazing.
Ventura. From
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bobby Ventura out on the mound. Just took Bobby Ventura. It's Robin, but close friends like me called him Bobby. Ryan folded him up like a paper airplane on the mound. Look at me. All right, here we go. Look at that. That's so smart. That's a smart play. Nolan Ryan, dude. That guy he threw 100 miles an hour for 50 years. And you know what? He gets on these lists. Nobody has the respect for him out there in Texas. Home run hitting ballpark with a
'Cause he
3
didn't win
ERA
World
for 50
Series.
years. Huh?
Because he never got to the World Series, not because of his fault, but, you know, like,
He was 1 of 9.
I mean, he was on the Astros. He was on the Astros back when, like, Cam and Eddie was juiced out of his gourd. They didn't have another player. All right, here we go. I got a couple for you. I'm going to get cute. I got a pitcher and a hitter. I'm going to go quick. Greg Maddux. And again, let me put a reset out here. I don't talk about things that I didn't see. What are you going to do? Ty Cobb, Cy Young, these guys? 80 years before I was born? I'm not going to do that for you. I can't speak to it. What I can speak to is Greg Maddux, who is a no talent in comparison to guys way better than him. Scherzer out here throwing 98 into his mid-30s. The ball drops 50 inches. Maddux had none of that. Maddux throws an 88-mile-an-hour fastball at his prime. 82 most of his career. No talent. Yet the dude strikes out everybody, wins everything in sight. Long career. Maddux is the best pitcher of that generation, period.
Didn't he wear glasses when he pitched?
That was at the end as he had, what is that? Cornea stuff.
Corneal ablation, kind of like Rick Vaughn, because he wore glasses too.
The most controlled pitcher of all time, and the guy who did the most with the least amount of natural talent. All right, and for batters, I'm going Ken Griffey Jr. Talk to me. Here's why. Ken Griffey Jr., 7 feet tall, 112 pounds. Again, he was a gifted athlete, but he was not juicing. I tested his blood personally in those days. Everybody else in that era was 250 pounds. Their wrists were bigger around than Griffey's chest. Okay. And Griffey still hit 40 bombs, batted 300, played great defense, cannon arm, period. End of it. All right, let's move. I'm done. Nobody can even argue with that. That's the right choice.
that was terrible. Hang on though a second, though. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about argue over who the best player pilot was. Roy Halladay or Truman
Oh
Munson?
my God.
This is why
Coleman
we're here.
Munson, too, though. So
He was out there with Payne Stewart, I think.
Wow. I'm so proud of this.
My man.
yeah, go.
Are we doing Kobe jokes, guys? It's
Too
2020. The
soon.
guy just
Too soon, guys.
the guy's body hasn't even cooled down yet. All right, we're gonna move. What do we have next? Sorry to everybody who's actually trying to get anything out of this thing. All right.
So in the 7, I'm going to go with 412.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of horse racing knowledge being spread here, but there is a whole lot of knowledge being spread in general. All right, so we're going to move into now the NBA greatest of all time. I really don't think we should even discuss this because it's so obvious who it is. And if anybody disagrees, they're an idiot. Vinny, go.
It's got to be Jordan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We don't need any explanation. Fly P.
23. And 45, Jordan.
And if the BT Express was here, he'd be talking about the other number 23, which is not even allowed in this conversation. Thank you. Nature Boy, go. There really isn't a conversation, is there?
George Mikan.
Michael.
Throwback.
I'm starting to see a trend with Christian McCaffrey and now George Mikan. Who's the best receiver of all time? Tom Waddle? What are we doing? Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest waste of time in my life. It's Jordan. Everybody agrees. Next, NFL greatest player of all time. This is a wild one. Everybody knows the best quarterback of all time at this point. It's undeniable. Who's the best player, though? Vinny.
Shut the fuck up.
I have Brady.
It's hard to argue. And nobody hates any human being more than I hate Tom Brady, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could probably make an argument for like Jerry Rice, but I would go with Brady.
Love that as the second option. Beautiful. Vinny couldn't agree more. We're gonna move Fly P.
Vinny's reading my sheet from.
Well, I mean, honestly, there's about 8 guys you can even talk about here.
I'm going Jerry
Jay Rice.
Unbelievable. Sticky hands.
And another guy who did it without the absolute shockingly skill set that like a Kelvin Johnson or somebody like that had. Guy was out here with the average body is in terms of an NFL receiver. What was he, 6'2",
He was
180 or something?
Ahmad Rashad size.
He is the best.
Ahmad Rashad married to Felicia Rashad.
Go ahead.
Used to sleep with Cliff Huxtable.
That's very relevant, and we love that.
He doesn't remember that.
Jello pudding pops.
Doesn't remember that.
Jesus Christ, this is informative for you guys.
Just wait, I got some good shit coming up.
All right, let's go. Nature Boy, who we got? And is there anything else to talk about here?
Definitely. Sweetness, Walter Payton.
Oh, I love that. That's a hot
Played on
take.
some terrible teams, but wasn't a big guy, but always stuck his head in there, went over the top.
He
was
put a
just
ring
a
on Jim
home
McMahon,
player.
which is hard to do.
Had more touchdown passes than Matt Stafford.
Your
just-
Detroit
just a-
showing in you.
Yeah, no one even knows who Matt Stafford is.
No. Nobody outside of the NFC North.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, that was the perfect football player, and it was a shame that Ditka gave the ball to the fridge and not Walter for that touchdown. So
Fuck that guy. Fuck all of them.
Yeah.
Chicago's a toilet. My favorite city to visit in the whole country, except it gets cold there, and plus I hate their sports teams. Except for Boston, and Vinny did mention, by the way, we were having a little lag issue earlier. He mentioned he was a Red Sox fan. What a fucking joke. We'll get into that later, I hope. That is the worst franchise to root for you can possibly root for. We're going to go. To me, it's Tom Brady, and I'm at Michigan State. I think the Nature Boy will agree. We're both Sparty guy, and it just pains me to talk about Tom Brady. He is the greatest of all time, but at this point, the guy's 57 years old, still throwing touchdowns. Great. Guy's got a bunch of rings, and he's throwing to 5-6 white guys out there. Not a lot to work with. Doesn't matter. He's reset that team 5 times. He is the greatest of all time. Period. Next, we're gonna go back. Now we're going to most overrated. This is where stuff's gonna get sideways, I think. The most overrated player or overhyped player or animal in the horse division of all time.
Oh, of all time? Ooh.
Most, yeah, oh yeah.
He was thinking active.
I did, yeah. I thought
Well,
act.
we can work it both ways. Somebody who's come in with hype overrated, didn't work out for him, or maybe it did work out, but they disappointed you. Vinny in horse racing, go.
Ooh, I did for my active overrated in horse racing. I would say Mackenzie. I think Mackenzie is been overhyped since day one. I would really have to. I would probably, if all time, I'd probably have to say Game On Dude. Would be my all-time overrated horse.
Yeah, that thing cost me some money. That Game On Dude.
He cost everybody a lot of money. He never. Anytime he ran against a horse that was halfway decent, he lost.
And let's be honest, for me, every time I mention a horse that I hate, it's come down to whether they cost me money or not. So, Game On Dude ranks up there. Fly P, give me the big knowledge, your horse racing knowledge. I know you're a specimen. He's actually signed a contract for his brain to be dissected. And
You're not going to believe this one.
go ahead.
We're going most overrated?
Yeah.
You're going to have to look this one up.
Secretary.
Les Boots.
Go ahead. Explain.
Worst jockey of all time. He never won a race. Look him up.
We're doing jockeys now.
Well, you said it was horse racing. It was the whole thing.
Okay, we'll work.
Boots. Just look him up.
What's his name?
Les Boots. Lesboots. I don't think he finished. He got thrown off of most horses he rode on. This is unbelievable. You gotta look this guy up.
I got news for you. Fly P's gonna bring a perspective that you're not gonna get anywhere else. This is just.
He had the second thing on Google. It says Les Boots claimed to be the worst jumps jockey in the world. Had 39 rides and fell off 40 times. In one race, he fell off, caught the horse, remounted, only to fall off again.
Shut the fuck up.
A professional jockey that never finishes a race 40 times.
He only had 49, but 39.
Sounds like
mounts.
a Coen Brothers movie.
I was digging deep. Look at, you see his face? Look at that. He's like, you were making that shit up. That's for real.
Oh, he's a fucking Aussie?
Well, that explains a lot. Those people are backwards.
You're like, wait a minute, who the fuck is this Les Boots?
He rode for the one comment says he rode for 18 years, and I reckon he spent 12 of them in a hospital.
Unbelievable. Les Boots.
This is the insight that people are after.
Dude, do you see that merry-go-round pic of him?
What the fuck are you talking about? All right, we're gonna move. We're gonna go Nature Boy next. Most overrated horse, because I know another wealth of knowledge in the horse racing game.
I know absolutely fucking nothing, so yeah.
Even better, go. Do you even have anybody you can talk about? Somebody cost you money at Hazel Park, something.
They're all just numbers, like the 3-digit to me.
Is there a particular number that costs you more money? Like the 6 horse or whatever?
6. Yeah. I put that in everything. It wins nothing. So
That's a gain for everybody. Everybody's a winner here today. For me, I did Kitten's Joy. Kitten's Joy, just, I don't know, like it, especially because he's got such a massive lineage now. But that thing, again, it cost me a bunch of money, 1,000 times. I bet him, he lose. Bet against him, he wins. Couldn't win with him. Hate his kids, hate his children, hate his grandkids. I'm not going to go any further than that. I wanted to, but I'll stop. I'm classier than that. All right.
what about the person who sired him? Do you hate him?
I hate anybody who had any involvement in that thing. Except if something would have happened and that horse would have, lost its breath and passed away, I would have done better with my financial situation.
Hey, brother. I was at a Hazel Park race where a horse went down and you fucking couldn't watch because you were fucking...
Yeah, because I got a heart. Baby boy's got a heart.
Was he crying or masturbating?
No, I wouldn't watch. I saw a horse go flipping upside down with a harness thing on it.
He's like, oh, wait, let's go.
Nah, it's not funny. Luca's throwing cats in a plastic bag. I'm not doing any of that.
This sounds like a security guard at the Los Angeles Chargers game. Have you seen that video on YouTube? Check that one out.
Back checking mass murderers. We're gonna go from there. All right, where are we? I even lost my spot because you guys are really distracting.
We were overrated. We got through.
Horse racing.
NHL. Vinny, keep us in check. NHL overrated. Go.
I don't have one.
If you don't have one, just skip it.
Yep, I don't have one.
Okay. We're gonna move. FlyP. I know you don't even know a hockey player.
I just said Sidney Crosby. Just tired of hearing about him.
You know what? It's funny. I had him too. You want to know why? Because I'm from Detroit, and everybody was bitching about the Red Wings for 50 years. I don't give a shit about them. But Sidney Crosby seemed like that. The next thing coming up. That's why I hated him.
Blonde hair douche.
You got blonde hair? I didn't even know. Nature Boy, go. You actually watch that thing, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I
Pond
got
water,
one.
guys.
And it might not be through any fault of his own.
Bluegill swimming under.
Eric Lindros was the biggest thing in the history of the fucking NHL.
Philly.
And
It's your Philly guy.
he had a fucking glass jaw, you know. And
Oh, he looked
couldn't
like he could.
stand
He looked like he
ice.
could beat up Tyson at the same era. The guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, in 1990, if you had a concussion problem, they just called you a pussy. You know?
Yeah. But you had to stay in the game.
So I still feel that mentality right now. So even if that guy had whatever the fuck, CTE, then
It's
You know,
light stuff, you
get
know.
on the ice, you pussy. You know? Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Just the light stuff.
Yeah.
Get the game, you bitch.
All right, now
Bite
we're gonna
down,
move.
put it around your mouth guard and fucking tuck your fucking.
Tighten up, bro.
Yeah.
Tuck it in.
What are we doing? We're doing all right.
Yeah.
Most overrated for MMA. Does anybody even talk about this thing?
Yes.
Chuck
Okay.
Liddell.
There you go. I love that. I love that
Chocolate-
answer because it's
chocolate doll.
stupid. Listen, anybody with a
Thank you,
mohawk
Vinny.
should shampoo homeless people's crotches for a living.
The only reason I say
Terrible person.
only reason I say Chuck Liddell is when like he did if you go back and watch it before MMA
Oh.
became mainstream, he was really good. But by the time it went mainstream, he had a glass jaw and lost like every fight. Yeah, he
That
just
guy was a cartoon character.
Have you seen Chuck versus Tito on the 30 for 30?
Mhm.
Yeah, that validates.
Fly P, go.
Yeah,
You got a better answer than that? Because I think that's pretty solid.
Ronda Rousey.
That's
Well,
Look at this. This is
Rousey-
controversial.
She quit the real stuff to go to the fake shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because she
Well-
went for the money. Babyface had a babyface. She was almost attractive to a gay male. And
No go. Ronda out.
that's
Yeah, it's
smart.
probably
Well played. That's
Ronda.
Fly P's actually got hot takes on this on
that's
the
a good.
cockfights.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, I'm a professional cockfighter amateur.
Nature Boy, go. You got something better than that? So I'm gonna tell you right now,
Rousey-
I don't.
Rousey's up
Who's the
there.
hag that beat her up? The other hag.
Cyborg.
Nunez and
Helm or something,
Holly
right?
Holm. Yeah.
Man, I knew
Oh man.
Yeah, when Rousey fought, the fucking talent pool was fucking shallower than fucking
Yeah.
Webb's drink is, right?
Well, wasn't she the first woman to be like?
Like she fought herself and she won.
Well, yeah, there's a sexist pig game, and it's first of all, it's not even a human game. It's a bunch of chickens fighting in a hen house, right?
They protected her with the bookings. Her first 5 fights after she won were against.
Vinny, she's marketable. Look at her. She's the only decent-looking broad that's ever fought somebody. Go ahead.
No, there was.
She was actually mildly attractive. I'm not going to go as far as to say she was hot, but in terms of that game, extremely hot, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm out of line, but she looked like a good-looking Mike Tyson. Anyway, I really don't want to spend any time on that sport. It's not a sport to me. We're gonna move boxing, most overrated. And again, I think this is a waste of our time too. But I got a good one. Go, Vinny.
I don't have one. I don't watch boxing enough to think anybody was
Well,
overrated.
you're under 40. Anybody under 40 has never even seen a boxing match. We'll move. The rest of us are over 40, I think. I think I am. Fly P, most overrated boxer of all time.
So I have two.
Go.
They might be make believe, but they were still overrated. Glass Joe and King Hippo.
That is actually another hot take. Fly P, bringing the pain, dude. Because I'll tell you what, dude.
Mike Tyson's punch out for the kids that are listening that don't know.
Oh, shit. I brought that thing home. It took me about 30 minutes to beat King Hippo. Dude was on. I mean, you talk about. I couldn't touch him. You couldn't touch him.
But once you did, you knew how.
Yeah, once his drawers dropped
Yeah,
his
I had
ankles,
to
it was.
So I'm saying.
I had to go to school for somebody to tell me how to beat King Hippo and Great Tiger. So, but
Great Tiger, also known as a shoe bomber out there. All right, we're gonna move.
hang on, I got a real take on this fucking.
All right, go. Don't stunt this legendary performance with real takes here. Go.
Yeah, fucking Mike Tyson is by far the most overrated fucking boxer in the history of the game.
Look at this. This is why we're here.
Name some motherfuckers who he beat. Larry Holmes, who was in the physical
75 years old. Yeah, he passed away in the ring.
He was 75 years old.
George Foreman was 85. Next.
A journeyman knocked him out who sucked fucking absolute dick. Then he had a couple real fights with Holyfield where he got completely tooled. And he was all fucking hype, no substance. And I love him too. I mean, that shit's exciting. But he got booked like the Ultimate Warrior. Fucking, he came in, he shaked the ropes, he fucking knocked out some chump who was paid to take a dive.
Peter McNeely, for example, if you need P. McNeely, who's gonna bring that name for you? Kid got knocked out in 3 seconds. The thing.
Yeah.
All right, enough said. I get your point. I respect it. That was a bad era, but you know what? That era was the last era, though. Because you want to talk.
No, dude,
there was another. I'm not going to spoiler alert you, but with my greatest of all time, but it kind of foreshadows that. But we're going to move. I'm going to go with somebody who's going to offend the world. Floyd Money Mayweather, the guy. What is he? Love tap guy? I don't want to watch this moron. What is this? Sugar Ray Leonard Part 2, except the cheap version with no competition. He's only going to fight for $20 million, only if Manny Pacquiao strokes his cock for 20 minutes in the ring. I don't want to see it. I got no interest. Worst fighter, worst fighting. Shit. To me, listen, you want to blame why boxing sucks and nobody even watches it anymore? Here's why. Money Mayweather. And then the dude goes and throws $1 million on a roulette wheel and videotapes it. The guy's a pile of shit of a human. He ruined the sport. I don't care if he won. I hope he won. You want to know why? Because I want everybody else to like him. That guy's a pile of shit. The sport deserved to die for making an ambassador. I'm not even going to get worked up about this loser. Now we're going to move. No, that's how much I hate money. That guy's a pile of shit. All right, what's next? Now we're going to move to the
real sports? I mean, the other sports.
NBA. Most overrated. Vinny, go. This is going to be fun.
Most overrated active player, I think, is Paul George. I'd really have to think for most overrated of all time. I think I'd really have to think about that. But for overrated right now, I think it's Paul George.
Paulie George going to get you every stat in the book, but not do a whole lot for you.
I don't even think he does that. I just think he's very. I think he's
Vinny, are you a fantasy nerd? Daily fantasy nerd?
I don't do fantasy basketball. I do fantasy football, and that's it.
Did you see Vinny didn't want to slander Kobe because he's a Lakers guy?
I love Kobe. I would take Kobe. I take Kobe 10 out of 10 times before I take Paul George.
All right, we're gonna move. Fly P, go.
How many do I get? One or two?
If you got to split them, go quick.
Well, they both are active. So one is LeBron.
Oh, fuck you.
That's a terrible. Just skip him and move on.
My real one is Lonzo Ball.
That's a good one.
Of course, yeah, that's good. That guy, he wouldn't even exist without his stupid dad.
Big ball of brand.
Yeah, that's the biggest waste of time that's ever lived. He's kind of like, just ruining the sport. If you didn't hate the sport enough before, introduce the Ball family, and there you go. All right, I got two also. Allen Iverson. The guy with maybe the prettiest ball player I'd ever watched with his moves. Just impeccable handling skills, good shooter, worst attitude, worst work ethic, just a pile of trash, playing for a pile of trash team. He wants to throw in 40. He's not going to hand the ball off to anybody. He's going to give an attitude to everybody. Allen Iverson sucks.
You're talking about practice?
And here's another one. You can disagree with that if you want. I don't care. Wild talent. He's like Isaiah Thomas. I grew up watching him. Same guy. Ready? The other guy, this is really going to piss some people off. He doesn't even deserve to be in this thing. Robert Ory. Big Shot Bob. Big Shot Bob, the most overrated guy of all time. And why? Because he's got 70 rings. The guy signed for the right teams. His timing, he had the best timing ever. That's the guy who walks up to a roulette table and throws $500 down and hits on every single roll. No talent. Average talent, I'll give him that. Fine. Who'd he play with? About 30 freaking Hall of Famers. All right. Enough. We're going to move. I got to keep this thing rolling. MLB, Vinny, go. Most overrated MLB.
Oh, I would have no idea for that going that far back. I mean, as a Red Sox fan, I'd probably have to say Nomar because I don't think Nomar was ever that good.
What about Benintendi? If you're going Red Sox, the guy sucks too. Just like your gap-toothed David Ortiz too.
Oh,
Even though,
love Ortiz.
How could you call him overrated? Except that he just destroyed my Tigers multiple times.
Hey,
Go ahead.
fire that'd be Bryce Harper.
Love
Is
that.
absolute fucking dog shit.
Spoiler alert, that's my guy too. He's big mullet hanging out of his hat. Nobody wants any of that. Nobody wants anything to do with that guy. What's he batting 280 and he's the best of all time according to these idiots? Good. Sell him out for another $50 million a year. FlyPaper, anybody. Bryce Harper's the answer. I think that's the right answer.
I went back on this one. Raleigh Fingers.
Why? Because they got a save for pitching 9 innings back then.
His mustache.
Dude, I still take Rolaids because of Raleigh Fingers.
You're not a pitcher because of Raleigh Fingers. You take Rolaids.
Dahmer takes Rolaids at the same era. All right, we're going to move. All right, where are we going from there? NFL most overrated player. I like how Vinny's got to go first every time and break the ice. Do you want to reverse the path?
Too easy.
Or do you want to just go?
My most overrated active player is Dak Prescott.
Oh, F yeah.
I think he's an average quarterback looking for elite quarterback money. I don't think he's that good.
Let me ask you this. That was my exact question. Is he, in fact, above average, or is he below?
I think he's below.
Draw a line in the middle.
Yeah, I think he's below average.
Better or worse than Matt Stafford?
I think he's worse.
I do too.
Dak's got the best offensive line. He arguably has the best running back in the game. I hate the Cowboys, but Zeke is phenomenal.
He is.
He's got an all-star cast at wide receiver and tight end, and he can't go better. He can't go better than 8-8. Like,
No, he's average at best.
yeah, like I can't. He's not going to make the big plays for you.
He's a what's that? Trent Dilfer is his other name. Trent
I think
Dilfer.
he's like Alex. I think he's like an Alex Smith. He's a game manager. He's a game manager, but
I'd
he's
hate to
not a
insult
big.
Alex Smith with that, but yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Fly P go. NFL.
I hate to talk bad about our fairly local team, but Scam Newton is my opinion.
Smart.
Dude, that fumble play in the Super Bowl is the GOAT play.
He sucks.
Now he's out there looking for a job. No one wants him.
He's terrible. That's a good take.
Scam Newton.
That guy's so overrated.
Stealing the computers when he was in Florida before he went to Auburn.
Let's go Nature Boy
I got a
move.
guy right here though. Lamar Jackson.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Lammy Jackson, man. That's
He said
Lammy
in
Jackson's
the
what?
playoffs. You're going to be forced to throw the ball, and Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. And I think it's going to get worse for him here on out, like a lot of mobile QBs. So
Kind of like your guy from Michigan. What was his name? Arm punt. What was his name? Denard
shit.
Robinson, 100 years
Yeah.
ago. World's greatest athlete, couldn't throw the ball 5 yards. Same thing. I got one that's going to be the most unpopular one of all time. I don't care. The guy's trash with his blonde, stupid hair. Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, look, he can catch one-handed. Who gives a shit? The guy's seriously, he's a top 5 receiver. He's not an all-world receiver. Jerry Rice piss on his mouth. The guy's nothing. The guy makes like $100 million a year. He sucks. I'm tired of looking at his stupid blonde hair.
If you signed him, you're a fucking idiot. That's the way I.
What is he? A game? Is the guy gonna win the Super Bowl for you? He sucks.
At least fucking like, let's say you signed Lamar Jackson to the max.
Fine.
At least he's gonna play his ass off. You know what I'm
Lammy
saying?
Jack. Plus the guy's touching the ball every play.
Yeah.
Your boy Odell's gonna go up there and one hand something twice a year. Woo!
And he's gonna come cry to whoever the fuck.
He's gonna be out doing push-ups in the driveway with Terrell Owens in about 3 weeks. All right, next up, we're gonna go. We're moving. This is the last category. I know everybody's bored of tears. This is the most hated or biggest douchebaggery player in the history of the game. In the history of the game. We're going to go horse racing, and this is tough, man. It's tough to do. We got to call them out as we see them. Vinny, do the honors. You go first.
Oh, for like most hated horse, basically.
Or owner, jockey, anything. Throw
I
it
would
wide
say,
open.
I would say jockey. I would go Calvin Burrell.
Yeah, that guy's a meth tooth.
And like the fact that he won 3 derbies is still unbelievable.
They celebrated him too. The guy's out there popping heroin in his arm in the winner's circle. Loved him. That's a great take. It's about as good as you're going to get here for horse racing. FlyPaper, I'm just going to blow past you. I don't think you have a fucking take.
I have Northern Dancer.
Just
to get a rise out of somebody.
That's a good one though, because that whole dancer bloodline is the reason that all these horses break down so early now. So
yeah, it's not having enough sunlight lowers your vitamin D, which makes your legs break.
I have a take here
Go ahead.
after you, Webb.
No, go. You go.
Okay, as a handicapper, Larry from Hazel Park, he had an in on every race at Hazel,
Huge advantage.
but he rode his fucking bicycle up there every night.
That guy couldn't afford a car, but he's going to give you every tip ever.
Yeah, because obviously he was fucking killing it with his.
You're hanging out in the Metro Detroit shithole harness track. You know that you got tips for days.
Yeah.
Larry, love that. That's a great take. This is why we're
Even
here. This
though-
is why we got listeners.
He had to lock his bike up so Webb wouldn't fucking take it.
So I wouldn't throw a dollar bill on a fishing line out to him and try to snag him on the way out of the place. For me, it's tap it. Again, for the same reason, no doubt. We were just talking about Northern Dancer. Everything about that horse has cost me money. I'm not going to beat up on the lineage. It's a great horse. The thing's the most successful sire out there right now, without question. I hate him. I hate his family and friends. I hate his connections. I hate anybody who's ever touched the thing. Next. All right, now we're going to get into the big stuff. NHL most hated player, Vincenzo, go.
NHL, I don't have one. I've
Thank
never.
you for
That's,
that. I respect you more for not knowing anything.
Yeah, that's
about
kind of the one sport I never really got.
French
in.
Canadian, and Dino Bravo's out here blowing 500-pound weights up in the air. Nobody cares. Fly P, most hated hockey player.
Ulf Samuelsson.
I don't even know what that means.
Look that up.
I'll take your word for that.
2 L's in Samuelsson.
Nature Boy, do you even know who that is?
Yeah, I know Wolf. So he's in NHL 95 somewhere.
Here, see? Go back to the Genesis.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it'd have to be Darren Helm or Chris Draper because they were the same fucking player, and they were overrated because they were on good teams here in Detroit, like the Brandon,
Like a John Taylor for the Niners, kind of.
Yeah, like the Brandon Inge of that. Those guys fucking actually sucked. Like Tayshaun Prince is another one.
Oh, no. Kentucky Wildcat, bro.
Dude, do we got a UK fan here?
What an idiot.
State of Kentucky fan, mainly UK, but I'll.
Got a Jamie Mashburn contingent
Yeah.
up in here. Guy couldn't hold Chris Webber's crank. Timeout guy.
But yeah,
That's it.
that's what I have to offer for that. So.
NHL for most hated. I got Claude Lemieux, and I don't even care. I don't even. You know what? Scratch that. I don't even want to give that. I say that because I'm from Detroit and everybody loves the Red Wings. I don't care about the Red Wings. How's that for you? All right, we're gonna move. MMA most overrated. Didn't we already do this? No. Most hated now. We did most overrated. Now most hated. Vinny, go.
I'm gonna say it's Anderson Silva.
Andy, the spider.
Yeah, the spider.
I love fucking Andy.
He's a
Tell me about Andy. I don't know shit about this guy.
he showboats in the couple recently his showboating's gotten him knocked out a couple times. So I think he's one of those guys that is he probably could have been on the overrated too. Honestly.
I like that. I like that there's a real take in the human cockfights. It's a treasure to find somebody that actually watches that thing.
I like how 75% of this watches that. You don't.
But only 25% of us is correct with their take on it. FlyPaper, the most hated, go.
Former sparring partner of Christy Mack, War Machine.
Whoa, that's smart.
You can't even. There's no.
How do you respond to that?
Line, little bing bang boom. War Machine.
For the kids listening at home, could you explain who Christy Mack is and then who War Machine is?
Christy Mack is she's a film starlet from the Valley in California.
Adult film actress?
And listen, I mean, most adults are the ones that are in movies, so yes. Okay, Max.
That's a hot take. That's your only worthy statement of the whole thing. I'll be honest.
Dude, I've been on fire all night.
2 hours into the thing and you make a statement that matters.
War Machine. I've used that one before, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
Probably episode number 7 or 8. Former sparring partner of Christy Mack.
That's a take worth repeating for sure.
I like where he's at. I can only see his shoulder, but I like it.
Well, you don't want to see much more.
It's on my shoulder. It's like an elephant tusk.
All right, so for that thing, I got nothing. For me, the most overrated MMA fighter is anybody who's ever fought in that thing. It's stupid.
It was most hated, not most overrated.
Most hated, same thing. Anybody who watches that thing probably has a neck tat, and they probably have no education.
What kind of fucking host can't stay sober enough to stay on?
What is this sober? What is it? You can't be sober and watch people beat their brains and bones out of each other's head. All right, how's that sound for you?
Hey, we're gonna Zoom this ESPN card they have this Saturday because we got nothing else.
Please, can I watch?
Oh, God.
That'll be fun for the kids.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll move into the real sports. Boxing. So we're back into boxing. Most hated, Vinny. Need it from you. Go.
I think it's Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Amen.
Guys, he's as good as he is with his record. He's just a dick.
Oh,
He's a pile of shit of a human. His fights are the least entertaining thing I've ever seen. I think that's a perfect answer. And now a spoiler alert again. Same for me. FlyPaper, do you have anything to offer? Come on, give me something in this thing.
Reuben Carter, because he killed someone, and then they made a fucking movie about it. Hurricane.
Wow.
Oh, they rewrote history on that. That motherfucker was guilty as shit.
And
I looked through the file.
They made a movie.
Wow, this is passion coming out now.
Denzel. It's about time you come to grips with this.
I
See,
have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. It's
Proud
hard to
say
say.
that.
Obviously, Floyd's the obvious answer
Antichrist, yeah.
because he's the worst. He's a point-fighting guy who makes you sad that you ever ordered the pay-per-view.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a giant exaggerator, and I will push things to the limit. He ruined the game.
Yeah.
He did. He finished the game. The game was in trouble. It's unwatchable what he does. Him and Pacquiao, same thing. That's the most. They build that thing $100 zillion purse, and then they played pick and peck. Nobody could watch that.
I couldn't believe people paid for it.
It was unbelievable. What an insult to your money.
Yeah. Pacquiao was washed by then. He'd gotten cleaned a couple of times.
Listen, the guy was out there swimming with carp for 40 years. He took his $100 million and he got his check. Good for him. Mayweather, that was a scam. That was a fraudulent scam that ruined the game. Go ahead.
When I fought, it was for real.
You're right.
Look at this. All right, are you done? Can we put MMA to bed for the night? Boxing, both actually.
I love your guys' half-ass format.
This is smooth execution. As you would expect. Most hated for me, Money Mayweather again. Money Mayweather is the only person in this whole podcast that all four of us to make 3 categories. Most hated, most overrated.
And the GOAT.
He's not the
Yeah, he's all 3 of those. That's it right there.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. How do you do that? But he ruined the game. I mean, that'd be like if some guy could come out there and bunt a baseball and get on first base and bat 1,000.
Oh, that's Bill.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Bill Buckner. The most innocent.
Oh, he's smiling now.
Oh, man.
Shaking his head.
Just,
All right, we're going to the last. We're getting into the big stuff now. This is where the real hatred comes in for most people. NBA's most hated, despised, or biggest douchebag. Vinny, now.
Paul Pierce.
Look at this, man. This guy got
Paul
a thing.
Pierce.
Boston Celtic. Did he finish his career at the Celtics? I don't even remember.
No, I think he finished it with the Clippers, technically.
Him and Tony Walker out there blowing his $50 million wad. Antoine.
Pierce is one of those guys. He always just thought he was better. He thought he was the best player on the court, and he rarely was.
What an arrogant prick. His face looked like an asshole. This is a great play. I hated that guy just looking at his face, I'll be honest. What a prick. And you know what? My Pistons destroyed that guy about 30 times. Ben Wallace just made him look like shit.
Benjamin Wallace. B-dubs.
All right. I think that's a smart move. Well played. FlyPaper, can you answer to that? Oh God, look at he. That's a good answer.
I love Sprewell. I love
Well,
Sprewell.
that's smart. Well
Dude,
played.
that would have been
Laddie
that would've
Sprewell.
that would have been better footage than watching Sprewell with the ball on offense.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy was a human garbage can.
I'm telling you, listen.
That's
Top that.
great.
Top that. The triple
I'll top it.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? I'm gonna interrupt. I'm gonna interrupt the normal order here, and I'm gonna bring you mine because I will tap it. And I got 2. It's a split. It's a split victory.
Host, you can have more than one.
Ron Artest and Steven Jackson as a combo meal for you.
Jesus, Malice in the Palace.
Yeah, the Indiana Pacers, as if Reggie Miller and his giant flapping dinosaur ears aren't big enough for you.
Or his sister.
Stevie Jackson and Ron. I think that's,
Ron. Yeah.
I mean, beat it. It's right up there. Nature Boy. Can you beat Steve Jackson, Ron? We all had great takes right there, by the way. That's the only subject we all had something to offer.
Legitimate independent.
Latrell Sprewell, even FlyPaper had something to say there for once. Go. Don't kill us here, Nature Boy.
Whoa, hang on.
Most hated NBA guy. It's not a hard. There's a lot.
Wow.
You don't want.
Dude,
Come
who
on,
the fuck
dude.
would it be, dude?
Kevin
Like,
McHale. I mean, give me some kind of answer that matters. Robert
dude,
Parrish.
even like a guy I hated, like Reggie Miller, with all my fiber. Now I love him because I realized what he was doing.
Miller
out
was
there.
a fucking
You
beast.
know what
Dude.
I'm saying? Like
I hated Miller too, but he was a beast.
motherfuckers just shitting on people. Oakley and fucking.
Oakley's a shit. But how about Rodman, dude? Rodman started on the Pistons, my guy. By the end of that thing, I hope he dies of AIDS. Honestly, how's that sound for you? That guy's terrible. The worst human being that's ever lived.
Yeah.
Well, there's your answer. Yeah, I'm gonna give you Rodman. All right, we're gonna move.
Thank you. I
There's
appreciate your help on
the
that
Nature
one.
Boy goes with Rodman since he had no answer. All right,
You know what I
now
did
the
hate?
big boy. Here we go. This is the prestigious one. NFL most hated player. This There's so many to choose from. It's like it's a buffet of extravaganza of players to choose from.
You mean
Vinny?
Wendy's Super Bar?
Vinny, throw
The Wendy's Super.
Wendy's Super Bar. Holy
Does it
hell.
have to be a player? Because I wrote Jerry Jones down.
No, he works.
That
That's
works.
a great play.
I wrote Jerry Jones down.
You're not
so.
going to beat him by much. Yep, that's a good take.
I love JJ. He's
As bad as a
fucking
human as you're gonna
retard,
get.
But yeah,
You get
I'd
jerked
just be
off
a-
with Bobby Kraft out there in the.
You know what sold me on fucking Jones was that strip club picture. You know, like I wasn't sure I liked the guy, but now I do. You know,
What's strip club picture? Not familiar.
he fucking somebody snapped a pic of a chick giving him a lap dance. and shit.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah.
Looking right now.
JJ's a good play. We're going to move from there while these guys
And
look
he
that
was
up on
like
Google.
84 at the time.
I just
So-
hate that guy because I hate that guy with his suntan at 95 years old. Get that freaking nasty tight skin and rest, will you? Fly P, most hated NFL. Go.
Said Ryan Leaf.
Hot take. Rye Leaf. Remember when they were debating the draft between him and Peyton Manning?
He's like, stop.
Screaming at his players, blowing meth up his nose. What else did he do? Steal prescription drugs from his grandma or whatever. This guy.
Got in trouble again recently.
Yeah, like yesterday. Rye Leaf. What was he? Number 2 overall draft pick. Light your phone on fire for me. JJ, that's look at Vinny inspired a generation of topics to talk about with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Nature Boy, most hated NFL guy.
Holy shit.
And by the way, I have a whole list of honorable mentions that I'm sure you'll agree with, but go ahead.
It's got to be TB12 for 10,000 fucking reasons, dude. I mean, making out with his kids, probably number one.
Making out with his kids.
Well, baby.
Coattailing Belichick's greatness to fucking GOAT status, that is number 2.
How do you really feel, though? As a Michigan State graduate, how do you feel about Tom Brady?
I hate him so much, and it's not because of it's partly because of the U of M grad.
Yeah. But he barely even played for them. Let's be honest.
They had to give Henson the snaps.
Henson
because
was a better
they
guy.
Yeah. But like the fucking fashionista shit, just fucking like a runway model. The fucking dude's pants split during that shit because he was trying to be such a fucking diva. You know, I just hate that fucking guy. So, and then the 7 Super Bowls or whatever.
Yeah.
It gets old after a while.
Kind of
Yeah.
hard to argue with the facts, but I get it, dude. I hate him too. TB12, that's your guy then?
By far.
Okay. We're going to go. Look, I got a list. All right. First of all, I got 2 that made my list of most hated guys. And if you don't agree, you're an idiot. Terrell Owens, first of all. Nobody likes that moron.
I do.
Doing push-ups in the driveway.
I do.
Yeah, Cowboys are a Niners guy because everything else.
That's my quarterback.
Eagles.
Eagles.
Oh, they didn't matter. All right, so my other guy is Chad Ochocinco. But below that, I got news, dude, because it took me 54 minutes to decide between these guys. And we already talked about Ryan Leaf.
Yes.
Let's talk about a little guy named Aaron Hernandez if you need him. What do you do? Murder 7 people? Kill himself in a prison cell? Good. Rapeless burger for the Steelers.
Shut up.
Guy
None of those are
raping girls
substantiated.
in the
There's no substantiation to that. I will not tolerate this type of slander on
On the goat.
yeah, maybe you'd be more comfortable with electrocuting dogs in a swimming pool with Mike Vick, or beating women in an elevator with Ray Rice, or murdering people with Ray Carruth. It's your play.
Empire coming strong.
And if I could bring it up, Jerry Sandusky was dangerously close to the NFL with his stature at.
You just went boop, 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 boop.
Look.
That was like a repeater.
I do homework. This is what I do.
It's automatic rifle.
It's almost like you had that in the can.
But the king of all kings, O.J. Simpson.
He didn't do it though.
Glove didn't fit.
The juice.
Yeah.
The
Hang on a
juice is the
second.
most hated, guys. Come on.
The glove don't fit. You must have quit.
Oh, I love the Dave Chappelle stand-ups where he's like, I've met O.J. Simpson on 4 different occasions, and I will tell you about all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we'll wrap this up as a big horse racing podcast here.
Going.
We do have one surprise category for everybody. We're going to revisit the same 4 categories, but this time we're going to do surprise serial killers.